So hi everyone, today we will try to learn how to create a code executor agent in generative AI. So by a code executor agent, I mean that the agent would be able to generate the code as well as execute the code. So that's the best part. So let's get started. So first of all, you need to pip install LangChain Google GenAI, LangChain Core. Once done, you need to enable your LLM. Do remember that you need to have a very strong LLM in this case, because even minor syntactical error in your code, the code will fail. So that is why you need to have a very strong LLM. Even in the case that I'm using Gemini 1.5 Pro, it was not able to give me answers. Later on, I used Claude 3. Then I was able to execute this code snippet. So do remember this. Once done, you need to import these major functions: agent executor, tool, agent type, subprocess. So the idea is we would be creating a custom tool for the agent. I think if you haven't been following what are tools, what are agents, you should go back to my previous videos and check out how a custom tool is created and how it is useful. And similarly goes for agent. So in this case, you can see that using the decorator add the rate tool, I am creating a tool called as generate code and giving it a description: generate codes for a given problem. Now using the LLM, I'm generating code snippet and I'm mentioning that output just code snippet and nothing else, and passing it the problem. Problem would be the input that you would be giving. Now, unfortunately, with most of the LLMs that I tried, they are giving some junk text in the beginning of the result, as you can see. Hence, I'm adding a couple of filters: Python, Hone. So these are some texts that are coming. I don't know why. I think the LLM was hallucinating. Even after mentioning, like, just output the code. So you need to remove that by mentioning some code logic. Whatever LLM you use, it might be the case it would be giving you out some other junk. So do remember that. Once you've cleaned up your code, just save your code in a file temp.py and then call subprocess.run Python for the path of the file where the temp.py is stored. Now do remember that most of the time the codes that would be outputted by the LLMs would be functions. So something like this, as you can see, is palindrome. Now even if you execute such a function, like if I give you, it doesn't give you an output. You can't test it, right? It gets executed, but you can't test it whether the logic was correct or not. But how to pass this particular num value while executing? So that's the major part. So what we will do, we will write another tool, test underscore code. Now in this case, we will open this particular temp file that we have created earlier using LLM, and then ask the LLM to write a code snippet to execute the given codes with dummy input. Right? Assume you import the function from temp.py. Right? So this is very important prompt. I think it has, you can improve it. Again, you need to mention output just the code snippet and then pass the codes that you read from the temp.py that you created. As you can see here, I'm opening the temp.py and passing it into the prompt. Again, as it is generating codes, you might get some garbage values. Once you have cleaned up your text, save it in another file, temp test.py. Now here you can see when I would be running Python path would be temp hyphen, this is a test file. Now eventually the test file should be able to pass the parameter and then run your code and then give you an output. Once you have created both the tools, the test code and generate code, you need to pass the tools to initialize the agent, pass the LLM. If you wish to have memory, you can have it. It's not a mandate. Now, when I was using Gemini 1.5, as you can see, the LLM is trying to create some code, but unfortunately, it is not that powerful that it is able to clean the code also. So at a point, it just failed for me. But when I used Claude 3, I was able to get these two functions using the same prompt, the same codes. So I was able, so this was the code generated for generating palindrome. So this was the input that I gave it, the LLM generate code to check whether number is palindrome and test. This is the prompt that I gave. And for the test part, that is the most exciting part, you can see that it is able to create a dummy variable and then pass it to is palindrome. So basically in this particular tutorial, you saw how you can create even test files or unit test cases for your codes, and then even execute codes on your behalf and create sort of an auto GPT, sort of an application on your end. Apart from that, I hope this was useful. One more important point is that by default, the agent uses a React agent. I think I've already explained in my previous video what is a React agent. So the best part is, if in the first generation the code correct generated was wrong, the LLM again goes back and tries. As you can see that it first executes, gets an observation. The observation would be the output. It says that ki, I'm getting some junk text and the file is throwing an error. Then it goes back into a reiteration how to improve the code, as you can see here. So React agent would be a great choice to go because it iterates on itself to correct out your code, and that is the whole part in here, because you won't be able to get the best of the codes in the first run. So the LLM would be iterating multiple times to generate the best code in both the cases, in case of generating a test and the actual code that you wish to generate. So I hope this was useful. You are able to create unit test cases and execute your codes and create your own auto GPT using this. Thank you so much.